You are now on with the Ruckus crew. Who am I speaking with?
Mike Reed.
Mike, yes, indeed, Reed. What's happening, Mike? Yes, indeed, Reed.
What's going on? How you been?
Pretty good in here. Talking a little bit about this boxing. I'm going to throw you a curveball since you're on home, so you probably heard what we were talking about. And since you fight for Top Rank, you won't have any controversy with commenting on it. What do you think about main events pulling out of the purse bid to make the Stevenson-Kovalev fight?
I think the fight should be made because it's one of the bigger fights to be made. There are two top belt holders in that division. I think the fight should be made. I was excited when they said, we're going to a press bid. Actually, this is my first time hearing about, main events pulling out of it. And I don't understand why. You got Kovalev, who's pretty much the face of main events. He's their biggest star. And, of course, they want to protect him. But at the end of the day, it's a business. And no other fight will make that type of money, won't gross that type of money, that the Kovalev and Stevenson fight will gross. So I think the fight should be made. Of course, you have egos in boxing at the higher level, so that probably has something to do with it. But I thought the fight should be made.
I'm highly disappointed to hear that. Maybe something else will happen over the coming weeks, but we'll get into that later in the show. We were talking about when we opened up the broadcast that we should just go on and make you a permanent co-host of the show. So you have to let us know when you're on spring break and summer break and you're not in camp so you can come on. So, Ryan and I could take the night off and you could just take the show over and just go on and handle that. So Ryan can stay in the gym and I can do my 10,000 things that I like to do in the course of the day, and you're just going to run the show for us, okay?
It sounds good. I mean, I've been on here. I'm a regular. I think I can do. I think I can get the job done.
I think you got it. See, we cultivating you now because we're gonna get Paulie out of his job. We cultivate you so when you stop fighting, you're gonna get Paulie out of his job.
All right,
but
sound good.
All right, so it seems that you have a fight coming up on May 8th at the Prudential Center. That's the card that's going to be on True TV. Is that card?
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, talk to us about it, how the fight came to be and, what we should expect to see.
Well, when they first gave it the date, they didn't give us details about it. They just said, you'll be fighting May 8th in Newark, New Jersey. And they just said that, and it was like, well, who's going to be the main event? And then we later on found out that Top Rank had indeed actually signed, the True TV series, which gives us fighters like myself, fighters like Glenn Tapia, other top prospects that Top Rank has, gives them more exposure and more television time. So when we first heard it, to be honest, we were disappointed because the Terrence Crawford fight is happening this weekend, and then you also have the May 1st card that's in Vegas, and the May 2nd card that's in Vegas as well. So those were three big cards that we would have liked to be on. So when they just said, you're on May 8th, it was a little let down. But then when they explained the details to us and it came about that my fight could actually be on TV and I'll be fighting on a big-time network and I have another chance to prove my skills in front of a TV crew, we hopped on the opportunity and training camp has been going well.
Excellent. Ryan, go ahead and jump on in.
Well, yeah, talk to us about training camp. What are you doing that's new?
What am I doing that's new? I've turned into a bully of some sort this training camp, and I've been trying to sit down on more of my punches and work on my inside game because, of course, we all see that I have speed and I can fight on the outside being a shorter fighter, but being a shorter fighter, I do have to work on the inside more, and that's where most of my advantages come into play. I have shorter arms, and I can get off shots that taller fighters can't see because of my defense and my counter-punching abilities on the inside as well as the outside. So we think, that if, A, we throw more combination punches, and B, we work better on the inside and just get physically stronger and start to rough guys up kind of like Andre Ward does, we can be more successful down the line. You know, once 10-round fights come in play, 12-round fights, we can just wear fighters down because I rarely get tired. And with me rarely getting tired, that's something else that we can, you know, exploit in our game plan, which is to work more on the inside, have a higher work rate. So, like I said, you know, this training camp was about being strong. Last training camp was about putting my punches together, and I think I did that good in the fight. But this training camp is about being strong physically and with my punches.
Okay. Has your opponent been announced yet?
No, they're switching back and forth between a couple of opponents, but no word, no contract has been sent to us yet. You know, so nothing's official. But they've been switching back and forth since we announced that we were going to fight on the May 8th card. So either opponent, they'll be more than ready.
What weight is the fight going to be at?
140.
Okay.
Yeah.
So since it's going to be like literally on the division limit, I assume this would be to advance you in the rankings.
Hopefully, you know, hopefully.
Is any sanctioning body, sanctioning the fight?
Nah, not yet. You know, and we think that'll come within the next fight and the next couple of fights because I had to, you know, I'm 13-0, and this is where you start to get ranked at. You start to get regional belts. You start to get, you know, youth belts and start to be ranked in all sanctioning bodies. So that's along the lines. You know, Top Rank, they've been doing a real good job in moving me at a very good pace, and you know, we just look to stay safe this fight, come out with a victory, and continue to impress.
Do you have a manager?
My dad's my manager and my trainer. So,
okay.
So you know, he's been guiding my career, you know, since day one. And whenever it's boxing related, I listen to him. You know, we kind of sometimes go back and forth with father and son because that's what father and sons do. You know, we just go back and forth. But when it's business related, as far as him being my manager, I always listen because we made some really good calls as far as deciding when to turn pro, deciding not to take these deals to get a better deal, deciding to keep fighting at home so we can, you know, get Top Rank exposure and have Top Rank actually look at us. So he's made very good calls, and until he don't make good calls, you know, that's when, you know, we'll sit down, or that's when I can have room to not listen to him. But he keeps making the calls he's making, I'll continue to listen to him, and he'll continue to be my manager.
Sounds good. Back to you, Gianna.
You were saying during this training camp you've been more of a bully, and you've been working on sitting down on your punches. Is this something that just came about organically, that you wanted to work on this skill, or was this an observation from your last two fights as something that you wanted to work more on to, you know, to cultivate your game a little further?
It was a little bit of both. My last fight in Atlantic City, which was in October, I kind of let off the gas because I was working on the inside, and when I was fresh, you know, the first 3-4 rounds I was working very good on the inside, but then I kind of got tired towards the end of the fight because I wasn't used to working at that pace. And then I came back and forth on the Omaha card in Nebraska, and when I fought in Nebraska, I kind of tried to finesse. I tried to take a more finesse route and stayed on the outside instead of being that bully that I know I can be. So with those two fights, and then watching me spar, because when I spar, I can do it very well in sparring. It just doesn't translate into the fight because muscle memory kicks in, and I go back to staying on the outside and using my speed because that's where I'm comfortable at. But now we kind of made it our business to sit on the inside. And I still have my good head movement, still have my good defense, but it's the pace of the fight and the tempo of the fight. Like, my sparring sessions have been somewhat like fights. You know, they've had the intensity of fights, and that's what we need to be able to sustain that same intensity throughout the fight and not get tired and dialed in the later rounds.
Speaking of fighters that have the shorter arms and often stay on the outside and use their speed, Manny Pacquiao is about to fight Floyd Mayweather the week before you fight. He's often in that same position, and he's been fine with it so far in his career, outside of, like, the Marquez fights.
Right.
Do you think it works against a guy like Floyd Mayweather who has the reach advantage?
It does. I think it works, and I think it works for a different reason. I think it works because Manny Pacquiao, his feet will give Floyd problems because Floyd is used to guys coming in at one angle. Guys just try to maul Floyd, and they try to run him over and impose their will, like Madonna, Miguel Cotto. Those were bigger guys than Floyd, but they just wanted to maul him and run him over and just beat him up. I think Manny Pacquiao, his speed and his foot movement, because he has kind of like a herky-jerky style, he'll jump in, throw punches, he'll jump in, don't throw, jump back out. He's very hard to time. And everybody looks at, they try to compare Marquez and Floyd as far as their counter-punching abilities, but Marquez and Pacquiao fought 4 times. And if I fight you 4 times, you best believe that I'm going to get your timing down, and I'm going to have your timing down to a T to be able to catch you with that perfect shot like Marquez caught Pacquiao. Floyd has never fought Pacquiao, has probably never been in the ring with someone like Pacquiao. So, and the fact that he's a southpaw. Southpaws give conventional fighters problems all over, just because of the fact that they're southpaws, and you don't see a lot of southpaws. So I have that advantage of working for myself as well with being a southpaw. But I think Pacquiao's foot movement will actually give Floyd a lot of problems.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a solid point that, Floyd doesn't have the experience that Marquez has against Pacquiao. And for the first couple of rounds, he's going to have to figure him out. But Floyd does learn his opponents during fights very well.
Yeah,
so
very well.
How many rounds do you think it takes him to figure Pacquiao out?
I think it takes him somewhere between 4 and 5 rounds to figure him out. And I'm not saying Pacquiao is going to win all 4 or 5 of those rounds, but I think by the 5th round, Floyd will start to win those rounds. Because one thing with Floyd, what makes Floyd special, aside from he has tremendous defense, it's his smartness in the ring. You can kind of look at Floyd and see him analyzing the fight as it go on, see him making the proper adjustments that the opponent's not able to make, and that's what sets him apart. Because as always, the fight will be close, like against Zab Judah. The fight was close, and then Floyd just made adjustments throughout the fight that made him dominate it. Against Shane Mosley, Shane hit him with a shot that hurt him. After that, Floyd made the adjustment, didn't get touched for the rest of the fight. Against Madonna, the first Madonna fight, it was a close fight. I don't even think that fight was close. I just think you saw Floyd get uncomfortable. The second fight was totally different because Floyd went back and he made those adjustments. So I think Pacquiao will win the early rounds. I think Floyd will make the adjustments, win the later rounds. And I think the championship rounds, the 10th through 12th rounds, I think Pacquiao will win because he'll be able to make adjustments as well. So it's kind of like a chess match. You win the first half, I win the second half, and then whoever wants some more, down the stretch. And I think Pacquiao will do what's necessary to be able to pull out the victory.
Oh. How much Bob Arum pay you to say that?
You know what? That has nothing to do with my ties. It's just a coincidence that I'm signed with Top Rank because Pacquiao, he's gonna get his money regardless. Win, lose or draw, he's gonna get his money. They don't. I'm gonna get my money when I fight, so it's nothing like that. But I just think so. I look at Floyd. And I look at the guys that's giving them a little bit of problems. You got Zab, who's a southpaw. You got Madonna, who's an unorthodox style fighter, who throws punches from very different angles. And you have Miguel Cotto, who is just, I don't know. I think that Miguel Cotto fight was actually closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought Floyd was going to be able to just dominate him, but that was a closer fight. I think Miguel Cotto. I think the work rate. And I think Freddie Roach, Miguel Cotto was with Freddie Roach when they fought, right? Yeah.
Right.
Right.
When he fought
No.
Mayweather?
Well, yeah.
He wasn't with Freddie Roach yet. He went to Freddie Roach
Pedro
when
Diaz,
he
I think, was
fought
with
Delvin. He was with Delvin Rodriguez. That fight is his first fight with Freddie Roach.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You're right.
Yeah,
okay,
so,
well, let me ask you something less controversial then that doesn't involve a top-ranked fighter. Breaking news on the Ruckus. Mike Reed is over here shilling for top-ranked. No, I'm just kidding. So let me ask you about non-top-ranked fighters, but people who are definitely in your purview since this is your fighting weight, 140 pounds. Last weekend's fight, Danny Garcia, Lamont Peterson. How did you score?
That was a difficult fight to score. And with Lamont being a hometown, I sparred with Lamont not a couple of rounds, many rounds during his training camp for Danny. And I'll just say Lamont was turned up. Lamont, he had that championship focus, and I've never seen him like that, So with that being said, I knew he was going to have a good fight. I knew that from beginning round. I think.
Oh no.
Hello?
Mike Reed, man, Danny Garcia must have jumped in and snatched Mike off the call. Wow, no, you will not be saying that about me on the Ruckus because this call, it just dropped. Oh, I wanted to hear what he had to say, too, especially since he sparred with him during his camp. And we have our next guest, Toriano Johnson, who's waiting in the queue for us. What do we do? Well, there's Mike Reed. Hold on 1 second. Toriano, I know you're in the queue, so I'm going to pick up Mike Reed. Yeah, let me pick him up. What happened? Danny Garcia pop up at your door?
He must have, because he knew I was about to go in on him. But
he's out there on your cell phone tower. He snatched off his cell phone tower.
Yeah, Philly and DC not too far, so he up there cutting off lines. but I
go ahead and finish that.
I think Barry Hunter and Lamont Peterson game plan for the fight was perfect. I would like to see Lamont walk to Danny probably a round or two before he did, because he showed flashes that he was strong. He showed flashes that he could push Danny back, but he would go back to boxing. I believe that was their game plan, to box him and get him frustrated, and it worked perfectly. You saw Danny taunting Lamont saying, "Come fight me," but Lamont, he stuck to the game plan. I think Lamont won a fight, but I don't have no problems with the decision at all. When you decide to box like that and you want to move and punch less, move more, this is the pros. So it's kind of an unwritten rule that judges will give that round to the aggressive fighter. He can just cannot be landing punches, and that's what Danny was doing. He just was walking forward, and it just looked like Danny was trying to fight and Lamont was trying to box. So I have no problems with the decision. If it was me, I would have given it to Lamont 113, 115. But I think that fight, every judge sees different. I think 115, 113 for Lamont, 115, 113 for Danny, or even a draw would have been a correct decision. So I have no squawks about that decision.
All right, fair enough. Well, Mike, one more time for those listening who haven't had a chance to catch up with you, let's get your contact information so fans can follow you on Twitter, because you're real active on fight nights, and Instagram and all that good stuff, so they can follow you.
Okay, well, Twitter and Instagram the same. Yes, indeed, _Reed. Like she said, whenever I have a fight, I make sure I post all information on all social medias. My Facebook is Mike Yes Indeed Reed. I have a fan page on Facebook as well. So whenever I have a fight, whenever there's something boxing related, it'll be popping up on all social media. So thanks for listening, you guys. Thanks for having me once again. And I look to do it after the next fight. So if we can get a post-fight wrap-up.
Oh, we're gonna have your contract ready by the time you finish your next fight. We have a deal, so you can come host the show. All right, Michael. Good luck. And I'm telling you, I'm looking for you. Well, have good luck. I'll talk to you on Twitter. But good luck, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for having me. All right.
Take care.